and you just bet the team that needed to win,
you're done
to get into the playoffs, you'd hit 37% over 20 years.
Mayo experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, presented by DraftKings. Week 18, best bets. 3 each, the gold, the silver, the bronze, plus a teaser. Towards the end, we'll recap last week. Turns out the Human Fund was exactly where you wanted to be. Human workers really cleaned up against the spread last week, as we'll get to with Cam Stewart in a second. Reminder to all of you to smash the like and sub to the channel. And I got my giant one and done on the go. No Listeners League this week. It is time for the one and done for golf. You pay $200 for the year. That's good from January through August. You make one pick per week. You can only use that golfer once per year. Whatever money they win in that tournament translates 1v1 to fantasy points for the scoring for the year. First place is $80,000. Everyone inside the top 10 gets paid 5 figures, and it pays all the way down to like 650th place. There's over 4,000 people in the tournament, $800,000 of guaranteed money in that sweet, sweet prize pool. It is literally the most complicated or easiest thing you want to do per week. You can spend 10 hours, you can spend 10 seconds, and it even has a function where you can set up text alerts if you are someone who forgets to make your picks. The site will text you if you haven't made your pick, and you will do it. So go play in that at fantasygolfchampionships.com right now. The link is down in the description. However, I am giving away 2 free entries, or maybe even just a cash prize if you don't give a shit about golf, because you are watching the Best Bets NFL show. What you need to do is subscribe and turn on those auto downloads to the Pat Mayo Experience audio podcast on Apple. Do that for one, and boom, you're in the draw for once. You do it on Spotify, boom, there's another ballot in that draw. Leave a 5-star review or rating, and you are good to go. I'll announce the winner on Monday's show with Feinberg. Additionally, if you've already bought an entry or just want to get a second one, screenshot me on Twitter your entry to the Race for the Mayo Cup, and that makes you eligible for a second entry, this time for free. And again, I will be giving that away on Monday. Cam Stewart, 3-0 last week. Congratulations, sir.
Thanks, Pat. I really appreciate that. Got to stick to the system, and it's really hard sometimes when you do a lot of shows, right, Pizzola? Like, I guess I'm not sure if you're the same way. Sometimes I get laughed at a lot of the time for the weird, bad teams that I pick, and it's hard, and you got other info. No, I just got to stick to what I'm doing. I've been doing it a long time, and I get easily swayed, Pat. Like, like peer pressure. Hey, you want to go climb the school roof and do drugs and drink? Sure, sounds like a great idea. Want to skip class? Yeah, let's go. Like, you know what I mean? Whatever I do, people are telling me things. I got to block it all out. Just do my thing, and everything will be fine. Right, Pizzola?
Yeah, I mean, I never really understood the people who shit on others for picking bad teams. Like, that's why the point spread is there. The point spread is the equalizer. It's not like you're taking teams always to win outright. You're taking them not to lose by margin or a chance to win outright. So, like, I never really got that. I mean, a lot of these are coin flips. People want to bet on great teams all the time, but there's a spread attached to that great team. Like, you always have to pay a premium attached to that great team. So, great job with the Human Fund last week, Cam. You identified it before the show. You said this was going to be it. You went with it. That's the type of stuff I'm looking for, rather than the after the fact saying the theme won. So congrats on the 3-0.
I got one. I'll give you a little tease right now. Conquerors/pillagers might be in play.
Okay. Well, Cam,
get my drift?
I got the drift.
Cam was 3-0. Rob was 0-3 because he had such luminary teams like the Dolphins and the Titans and the Panthers as a part of his picks package last week. I was 2-1. We went 2-1 on gold, 2-1 on silver, 1-2 on the bronze, but the teaser won, so that improves to 7-8 for the season at plus 120. That is winning. So let's see here. We are up 1 game for the season on our silver picks, because I'm 7-10, Cam's 10-7, Rob is 9-8, so we're up 1 game. We are down 1 game on bronze picks because Cam is destroying bronze picks, and I am having the worst bronze picks year ever. I'm 4-12 and 1 against the spread.
What's my bronze?
You're 12-5 on your bronze picks.
Oh, I see, Rob. The cheaper and shittier the mineral. That's me. Like, you can't give me diamonds or anything. Rob knows. I go to the dumpster looking for, hey, is there a half-eaten sub in there? Yeah, I'm into it. Cheaper the better. The shittier the better. Give me loser shit. I love it.
However,
Mop it up.
After starting the year, I think through like 6 weeks, we were 8 games under 500 as a combined unit on our gold picks. All 3 of us are above 500 on our gold picks. I've rallied back to 9-8, and both of you are 9-7-1. So we are 5 games up on the gold pick. So not a great year, but now that we've looked at the recap for the season, not a losing year either. I guess with the VIG, it would probably be like break even if we're like 6 games over 500. How does that work, Rob?
Yeah, I mean, that amount of picks probably break even year. I could do the math, but it's either a small win, small loss, or break even. But that's honestly what's expected.
Hold on, pump the brakes.
Yep.
We're up on the big teasers.
Yep.
We're and so if you put everything together, I still think there's a plus there, even with VIG.
And don't forget the entertainment value that people get out of viewing as well. There's value in other forms, Patrick.
Oh, I mean, that's all I'm here for. I mean, I'm a losing bettor, so I've explicitly stated I am here for entertainment purposes only. But it's nice that someone asked me what my goals for golf season, like DraftKings and DFS, was for 2024. I was like, my goal is not. I was like, my goal is like not to lose all my money. If I can like break even throughout the course of the year, it's like I had a good time.
Exactly. People yesterday, Rob, a guy called me a professional gambler. I'm like, professional gambler? I gamble. Sometimes I feel like a professional. Other times I'm the worst gambler in the universe. So, like, you know what I mean? It's funny. People throw around these terms pretty loosely. I guess what's a professional gambler? A guy that doesn't have an occupation and makes money?
I'd say someone who makes either the majority of his or her income or all of their income from sports betting would be my, like, there's pro and there's semi-pro. Semi-pro to me is like you have a job and you're kind of balancing both. Pro, I think you spend most of your time and most of your income comes from betting.
I'm more of the Timbits gambling league, I think. Amateur. Yeah.
But to Pat's point, for a rec better, that's honestly what you should strive for, right? Like, too many people have these betting is hard, right? At the end of the day, betting is extremely hard. There's a reason that Vegas wasn't built overnight. There's a reason that these sports books stay in business for long enough. And the reality is, if you can strive to break even as a bettor, as a recreational bettor, and you get a ton of entertainment value in the process, that's a really good spot to be, generally speaking, because most people won't get there. So I think that's actually a really good goal, Pat. I mean, everyone's like trying to win. Oh, I want to win this amount. Then they end up parlaying a bunch of stuff. They chase losses because they can't deal with the loss. And they do all the bad things associated with trying to get to that winning level. Trying to break even is a much more reasonable goal and honestly still makes the experience fun for everyone. Yeah,
like, listen, if I could just state my goal to be I want to win $1 million this year and I was able to do it, then I'd be pretty fired up if that happened. I've had winning years. I've had losing years. I mean, golf has been just a yo-yo, but when you're betting outright winners at 60-1, sometimes you're going to have a good year. Sometimes you're just not going to hit anything. I basically hit nothing last year when it came to golf, and this year for NFL, it's been pretty break even. I've hit a few, like I started just basically betting same game parlays a lot. I hit a few big ones early on, then I lost like 15 in a row. And then, eventually it all just kind of finds its water. But I was able to sit down, make those bets, watch those games, and have the entertainment sweat equity cam of it. And I had to have fun the entire time.
Yeah, it's one of those things, I think this whole new gambling world, like everybody, like there's so many people that kind of, like it's professional. It's supposed to be fun. That's what we're doing. We're making something that we're watching a better thing, and throwing money on it always makes it better, right? Like for me, I don't know what it is. I've just, ever since I was a young guy, I've been betting allowance on the putting green, double bubbles, candy, all sorts of stuff. When you have a bunch of friends that are really competitive, that's what you do. And I just think this gambling industry needs to tone it down, and we should just crack more jokes and try to help each other instead of being dicks all the time. That's my take.
Well, let's try to help each other a little bit.
Yes.
And Rob, I want to get you to comment on this, and I want to see where you fall. Noted professional bettor Tim Anderkest stated that there is no edge in Week 18, so you're better off just not betting it anyway. Your thoughts?
I would disagree. I would stamp a big false on his forehead if I could right now. Generally speaking, in betting, the more uncertainty there is, the better chances you have to capitalize on that as a bettor. So here's an example. But typically speaking, if an NFL line came out on a Sunday night or Monday and it stayed in that same spot for the duration of the entire week, there was never an edge to be had on that game. What you're going to see in Week 18 is these games will move a lot based off of news. All of that news provides opportunity for us as bettors, and especially evens the playing field between a pro and a recreational bettor. Because let's say a team starts their entirety of backups, right? The Rams, as an example, we're going to see Carson Wentz, probably going to see their backups for the whole game. Who knows how to quantify that? Like, no one can really say with certainty, oh, all these backup players are worth this much. We're all guessing at it. So it kind of evens the playing field. All this uncertainty, good for the better. So complete opposite of what Tim said. I would, in fact, argue don't listen to what Tim said. Week 18, a great opportunity for bettors because no one really knows what's going to happen. And you'll see lines move way more because of that.
I don't know what's going to happen anytime. I basically Pat, my betting system, it's honestly, I look at things and I go, that's not right. And then I go, do I want to bet it or don't I want to bet it? When a line's a trap, I try to find traps. Sometimes I overthink it, right, Rob? If you got a lot of issues in your life, other times we think about it and we nail it. Like even going against the Seahawks with the Steelers, going, how are they going to stop their running game and stuff, like trap lines and stuff. And I'll tell you guys, there's a lot of grenades out there this week. People are just lining up betting these teams like they go, oh, I know the results. It's the fucking NFL, man. Anything can happen. Carolina could beat Tampa Bay, for God's sake. I've not heard one person say Carolina's got a chance this week. Yet that line's dangling at 4.5. You don't have any warning signs? Danger, right? You know what I'm saying, Rob? That's the way. I know I overthink it, but that's the way. You think these fucking people are giving away money? That's what I try to tell people. It's not that simple. Oh, I did my research and this and that. No, you know what? You do your research. You could look at trends, do anything you want to do, but they're not going to hang a bad number to get fucking burned. This is their business. This is how they build empires. They're not going to give you money.
Also, week 18 in particular for years now, and to Cam's point with Carolina, right? There's this premium to bet the teams that need to win. And people make up they spin these narratives are like, oh, this team's not trying, they're tanking for next year, whatever. And you get these numbers that just would never happen over the course of the year. And if you go back, if we go back and look at the last 20 years and you take every team in week 18 or the final week of the season, what used to be week 17, and you just bet the team that needed to win,
you're done
to get into the playoffs, you'd hit 37% over 20 years because there becomes a premium. So when Tim says there's no edge in week 18, I'd say the exact opposite. People start building up narratives that don't exist. So, you thought my card was ugly last week. Wait till you see this week.
Great information, Rob. And also, as a player, this tanking bullshit, that's on the organization. You're playing for, you know what I mean? You're playing for yourself, your family, your friends, guys. You're
a job.
In Arizona last week. A fucking job. You're playing for a job. You're playing for a future. Some of these people that talk about this shit, have you ever played sports before? I don't care. You're the worst, shittiest team in the league. You'd love to beat the best team in the league. You'll do anything to do it, especially when they're a bunch of dicks. So that's the whole thing. Look at Arizona last week. They got rolled over for a better draft pick. You know what? Fuck it. The coach, I used to be with Philadelphia. We're going to beat these guys. They're a bird with a broken wing, and we're going to fucking bury them and kill people's money line parlays while we're at it. So, you know what, Rob? Great point with the percentages. I would have said even less than that. I would have said about 30%, but 37, great statistic. I agree. You need it, doesn't mean you're going to get it. You want something in life, doesn't mean you're going to get it. So deal with it.
Maybe next time, don't throw a minus 600 favorite on a money line parlay.
Yeah. Oh, I got to be honest with you, Pat. I'm sometimes guilty of it too. And you know me, Pat, once I hit the, Senior Stoli or Hank Heineken, things kind of, what's the point? I'm raising this thing up $27. I'm like, you fucking idiot. What are you doing? Right, Rob? You get that liquid curd, click, 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 click. That's the whole thing. Hitting buttons is fun. And sometimes I got to stop doing it. Got to be careful.
Well, hopefully it's a good week and you can upgrade to Gregory Grey Goose this week.
Yeah. Greg Grey Goose. Yeah. I'm a Bob Belvedere fan too. That's a good one. Yeah. Kerry Kettle. One? Yeah, that's very underrated. That's the good. No, what, Pat, I would say for the price, Kettle One is, it's kind of like wines. I knew a friend who worked in a winery. They always said Wolf Blast was like the McDonald's of the Australian wine. It's good, but the thing is it's mass produced. You got to almost find that $17, Rosemount instead versus there's a lot of things you got to play the game. Anyway, I should do a liquor show after this one. Maybe we'll talk about value booze. Been there, done that.
If it was a Cam liquor tasting show, I could probably find financing for that for Mayo Media Network. You'd at least get free booze.
Pat, I have an idea. It was awesome. I wish you had a tape. Me and my girlfriend went down to a Niagara Falls winery. She met a guy from her writing days, and we went down there, charcuterie boards, Pizzola, like the way the Italians do it all there, vineyard, into the caskets. It was like, honest, one of the best days. Like, if we can take that day with that booze and turn it into like a gambling / like travel show, or, like, I'm right there. I'm loving it, because I love food.
Well,
still looking at my freezer full of beautiful meats that you gave me. Excellent.
In the last couple of years, Hot Ones has really blown up on YouTube, right? Where they try increasingly spicier wings and they interview someone. Could just take that format and do it with Cam instead. Just make it like increasingly harsher booze and ask him for a pick on 10 different games as you go through.
Next thing you know, I'm drinking Aqua Velva, and I'm like, starfish. Yeah, sounds like fun.
Yeah, we'll send you to Quebec, and you can have some Al Cool and see how that goes.
Yeah, that's right, Al Cool. Amazing.
Anyway, if you want to run that show down in the Niagara region, you talk to Gary, and he might have some ins down there.
It's funny. I tried to get Gary on the show last week, Pat, but he was like the one time he's out of town or whatever. But I'm going to get him on for NBA stuff. Gary and Thorne, not only Noah Pizzola, he's a great guy. Like, he's like you. He's like a real numbers guy. And we did a show. It was like me. I'm like the field guy, and he's the numbers guy. And I got to be honest with you, Pat, I miss Gary a lot. Like, he's one guy in this industry you can trust. He doesn't have an evil bone in his body. Very honest man.
Well, he is going to be live on the Pat Mayo Experience Sunday night for the season finale at 7:15 p.m. Eastern Time, as his Miami Dolphins take on Paul's Buffalo Bills. We're going to do the pregame for that. You say he doesn't have an evil bone in his body, but Cust is on that show, and he can get lippy with Cust.
Yeah, well, that's Cust says.
Cust has a way to push buttons.
Pizzola's soliloquy, like, this is what the fuck he's talking about.
Yeah.
So, like, what are you gonna do?
It was like honestly, it was like a 10-minute rant about this Week 18 stuff, and he was like pissed at the end of it.
I go into shows whenever I've been on with Cust. I always go in telling myself beforehand, I'm like, don't let this guy rattle you. Like, it's okay. He's got his opinions. Within 5 minutes, I just want to tear up everything on my desk. I can't handle it. So Gary thinks a lot like me, like Cam said. I used to do stuff with him back in the day as well. I could totally see how Gary could be very triggered by Cust.
Most of the audience.
Cust is pretty good, Pat. When I did the show with him on, what was it? Was it Halloween or whatever? Cust came out like he was sleeping at a Holiday Inn the other night. Like, he was bang, 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 bang. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and then all of a sudden, I know what he is. He's like a senior. Like, he comes out of the gate really hot when he gets some sleep. And progressively, as the day gets there, he gets more tired and beat down until he's just drooling and talking about fucking nothing. That's what he is. He's really strong early, Cust.
Yeah,
that's a senior.
That's why we have to have those 3-hour shows, because his best content comes at like 2 hours and 20 minutes in.
He should work for Sports Grid. Fuck, he'll own the company. 4-hour show with Cust about doilies. Okay.
Gold picks for week number 18. I'm going back to the well. I've taken this team 3 of the past 4 weeks as my gold pick, and there's a reason I'm above 500 now. It's because of this team, a team I hated throughout the early part of the season. The first half of the year, wanted nothing to do with them, but I've been all in since the rejuvenation has happened, and hopefully it happens to the Packers again, where they end up losing to a team that is trying to knock them out of the playoffs. And that's the only thing that they have to play for, is to knock them out of the playoffs. Bears +3, gold pick.
Oh, God, Patrick, I love you even more. This is like the freezer of meat when the meat delivery came in, just smiling ear to ear. The Packers have been in this situation so many times. I look at this line as the major trap, bear trap, right, Pizzola?
Yep.
Short price. Desperate team. Need to win to get into the playoffs. All this other stuff. Hey, I can understand people taking Green Bay. It looks like a really short price. You beat the Vikings with a quarterback that's basically out of BYU. Chicago's been on fire. The players love Fields. And you know what, Bears? I'm starting to be a real second team, Pizzola. They call me, I am the Bear anyway. So why do I cheer for the Seahawks? I cheer for the Bears. Oh, so. Bears it is. Pat, I love the pick. I think they can win this game outright. And you know what? I think the Packers, people are just going to take these guys. The one thing is, their defense could get shredded. This Bears offense figured something out. They're good.
Yeah, the Bears defense is really good as well. The Bears defense in the latter half of the year is performing at like a top 10 rate. And early in the season, they had so many injuries in the secondary. Now Jalen Johnson's going to the Pro Bowl. It's a really good unit. They don't give up much against the run. I mean, again, I just think that this price has something to do with the fact that Green Bay needs to win. I think if this game was like a couple weeks ago, you probably see it off of 3 in the 2.5 range. So I'm with you guys. I think we're sweeping across the board here on the Bears.
Yep.
All right, so that's my gold pick. And I'll probably do the
Pizzola?
opposite of that for my silver pick. I'm just going to throw that out there as a tease. But Pizzola, your gold pick.
I'm going to go back to the team that let me down in the gold last week.
God, you got to stop taking Carolina, man. You need to like seek help.
I am 4-2 ATS this year betting Carolina games.
I love the pick, Rob. And you know what? I think Carolina might win this game out.
See, this is exactly the same scenario as last week, and they lost by like 50 points.
Don't listen, Rob.
They're terrible. They had one good half against Green Bay, and people are like, problem
they covered
solved.
2 games in a row. Pat,
Yes.
Pat, I'll bring facts to the table because sometimes I talk like you guys call me like cuss. They covered 2 games in a row. Last week was a different story. If I would have known that fucking Beathard was starting when we do these shows on Monday and Tuesday instead of Lawrence, like honest to God, Jacksonville would have been a gold pick. Like that, Lawrence is hurt.
I'll also say something that flew, like you'll laugh, but this flew very much under the radar last week. Eddie Pinheiro, the kicker for Carolina, got hurt in warmups last week. They had to go for every like 4th and 12 in field goal range last week. It really killed. The performance was not as bad as it looked. I know they got shut out, blown out, but that had implications. Anyways, these teams played at the beginning of December in Tampa Bay. The spread in that game was Tampa Bay -3.5 at home. Part of the reason why Tampa Bay had some defensive injuries in that game, Jamel Dean, Levante David, whatever. We switch venues now, and all of a sudden it's 4.5. What's happened in the last month? Tampa Bay's a little bit better, both offensively and defensively. So is Carolina. Carolina, at that point in the season, was missing everybody on defense. Their secondary was a disaster. Now it's completely healthy. They've been playing at a very high level. You go back to that game in particular, Baker couldn't move the ball on that defense. They had a 32% success rate on offense. It was their lowest of the entire season for Tampa Bay. I just don't like the Bucs to have to win by margin on the road. Again, I think that there's a premium that you're paying on Tampa Bay here because they need to win to clinch the division and get their spot in the playoffs. I don't agree with the price. I don't agree with the number. I think this is the best value bet on the board this week. Panthers +4.5. I don't know if I'm going to have a cat theme, but I certainly like this one.
Cam, we go Bears. We go Panthers. So we have 2 animals in the gold pick. Doesn't sound like you're going that way.
No, I don't think I am going to go that way. There's a lot of things. By the way, both of your bets will be played by me. I'm going to go with, how do you feel about this one? We talk about mythological creatures. Remember the blank? Titans? How about Titans? Do we like the Titans this week?
I like the Titans, yes.
I was debating between I have the same 2 gold and silver this week, which is Panthers and Titans. So I'm with you, Cameron. Let's go for it.
Here we go. Jacksonville. So what have they done? This is what I do. We look at a full body of work. You beat Carolina. Okay. CJ Beathard, he's out there doing good stuff. The Titans, it's been a horrible year. But I could tell you one thing about the Titans. Vrabel, this could be a swan song. A motivator of men. Hopkins has incentives in his contract. He'll be ready to go. I don't think he's fucking telling Tannehill, hey, here's the deal, bro. Party at my bench. You give me 49 yards and a couple touchdowns. Let's fucking pop the cork. We're ready to go this week. We're going to take the points with the Tennessee Titans. It's going to be a close game. And Jacksonville asking them, as Rob says, to win by margin is something that they won't do very well against. Hey, great call on Pinheiro too, Rob. That's actually the hugest story ever that gets like, what, at page 598 of a 600-page book? Like, that's a huge thing when a kicker goes out like that. Remember it happened to Seattle back in the day with Seabass, with Janikowski. It's like, nobody's even talking about this. They had to go for it every fucking time when the guy pulled his hammy.
Yeah, but this can go the other way, too. This happened to the Texans earlier this year, and it forced them to go for it a bunch, and they kept getting it, and that's why they won the game.
That's
good. But that's because they actually have a good offense. It's different. Like, if you have CJ Stroud going for, I'm not talking about 4th and 1. Like, Carolina was going for it on 4th and 12s because they couldn't kick a field goal and they were too close to punt the ball. So they were like, they're not going to convert that all too often, but it's valid. It can work the other way depending on the situation. It's just like, you don't want Carolina going for a bunch of 4th and 10s all game. Like, they're not going to convert that very often.
Yep. Anyway, I just think this line is too heavy. I'm a little bit concerned that it actually went down. I saw 5.5 down to 5 on DraftKings here, but you know what? I'm not going to let a half point scare me off. I'm going to take Tennessee. If I could think they can win the game outright, I'll take the points. Guys, I got to tell you, I like a lot of like stuff like this week. Like, I usually don't like so many games. No, really, Pizzola, you've heard the story. Anyway, I should just shut up. I have a problem narrowing down 3 picks every week. I just got to pick the right ones. There's nothing worse than having like my list of rankings and then the ones that my 4, 5, and 6 win and 1, 2, 3 lose. But if we all like the Tennessee Titans, we live and die together. It's the mythological theme. I think Titans and / humans, right, Pat? Like Jack and the Beanstalk, like a Titan.
I think he was more Roman. Of a. I think Jack and the Beanstalk was more of a giant than a Titan.
Yes, a giant. Well, a giant would fit the mythological theme or is that a human? Just a big human like Andre the Giant?
But we don't know the other teams you're picking yet, so it's hard to determine the full theme until we know.
I think it's a mixed bag. I might have a bird. I might have an animal. Anyway, Titans is my gold pick. Thank you. No themes yet.
Silver picks. Rob, are you making the Titans your silver pick?
I am. I'm just going to add to it when I like this sounds incredible. Whatever. It sounds incredibly square. I'll say it anyways. As soon as I saw Ryan Tannehill come out yesterday and talk about how he like really wants to leave the Titans with a win, that was like the final I'm sold. But like Jacksonville they don't lay these prices. Like go through Jacksonville all year, even when people thought they were really good. Like they went to New Orleans and they were a 2.5 point underdog. They went to Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Hold on. There is context for that game. Everyone thought that Lawrence blew his knee out on Sunday and that he wasn't going to play in that game. And then he just played and he was fine.
Yeah, but we knew he was going to play.
Yeah, but we thought that he was going to be limited. And he ended up rushing like 8 times for 50 yards. He was fine.
Okay, so let's even remove that from the equation. I mean, they were they laid 1 at Tampa Bay a couple weeks ago. They had the Pittsburgh game in late October where they were laying like 2.5 on the road. Like they're not accustomed to being in this price range. Again, it's a premium, but typically speaking, another angle I like to play, and this is not just an angle, it's backed up with data over time. But you have a very defensive coach in Mike Vrabel, as Cam pointed out. Typically speaking, when a defensive coach sees a quarterback the second time in 1 year, their numbers regress quite significantly that second time around. They can game plan based off of that. Typically speaking, the team that won the first game in these divisional matchups in blowout fashion doesn't fare so well the second time around because they tend to do the same thing, whereas the other team changes up their game plan a little bit more. But it's a numbers play, and I'm just talking myself into the other stuff on top of it. I just don't think this number is remotely accurate based off of the way that these teams have been priced, especially over the course of the last 6 weeks.
So this is a live update we're getting from Cameron Wolf. So this might hurt my Bears bet if they end up deciding to bench Fields for the game. Then I would not like them with Bajon as much. But Cam, you'll enjoy this. Former Jets and CFL quarterback Chris Streveler is working out for the Bears today.
Love Streveler. Not going to say, okay, I don't want to get, it's too early in the morning for this shit, but I think Streveler is one of those guys, and Rob knows, he'll just run his ass off and he'll run through a fucking wall. He might only make a couple passes, but he's
That's not
a grinder.
Good.
Oh no, move the sticks. He's a third string quarterback, not even a second. Like Streveler's like 3 or 4. But the thing is, he's he's an animal. Like he will go out there and just think, I need to run fucking 20 yards for a first time. Like he puts himself in danger all the time. He's just a tough son of a bitch. A guy that I really respect. I'm not saying, you know what? He can move the sticks. I like Streveler. Let's put it that way. He deserves to be on a roster. That's all I'm going to say.
As someone who doesn't watch the CFL, so obviously you've seen the best of Streveler. The only thing that sticks out in my mind, Rob, from Streveler is that Jets game last year when he had, I think it was CJ Uzma, maybe it was Tyler Conklin, and he was just wide open like 30 yards down the field, and he just short-arted it. It was like 10 yards in front of him.
Horrible throw. I remember exactly what you're talking about. But listen, I'm gonna pivot here because typically this is where I would jump in and I would roast Cam. I don't think Streveler's any good, but he's won me so much money in preseason because he is like one of the preseason greatest of all time quarterbacks. You put that guy up against a bunch of second stringers or third stringers, he's gonna carve him up. Anytime Streveler comes in the preseason, it's like an auto bet for that team in the live market. So Streveler has done very good to me in the past. Do I think he can compete in the NFL against starters? Probably not. But to Cam's point, he does give effort. Like he tries. He's like he lays it out on the line even when the game is not important. And I like I like players like that.
I love that too. Excellent point, Pizzola. And I'll make another one, Pat. You can put this one in the time machine, roast me or give me compliments ever. Rourke, the quarterback from the Ohio Bobcats at the Patriots, took off. If he ever has a chance, I'm going to tell you he'll do very well. Very well. He's going to shock the world. When the Patriots picked him up, I'm like, fuck, this guy, like, he was the BC Lions' best quarterback. His brother played at Ohio too. He's a star. There's just something about the DNA of these guys. Like, I know, like, oh, yeah. The only reason CJ Beathard was the backup quarterback because he was friends with fucking Trevor Lawrence. Like, Rourke can play. But anyway, I'm just throwing that out there. I have a great call on Strevler. He's the best preseason quarterback that was ever on the field. The guy he prints money.
My silver selection, I kind of went against the narrative. Detroit's playing all of its starters and all of that thing. So maybe I don't think the Fields is sitting as of right now. It was just a funny note that ended up coming up live on the show. But I'm going to go to your team, Cam. They do need to win for a chance to make the playoffs, but it's not really about Seattle in this spot. And yes, Arizona has been playing much better since Kyler Murray has ended up coming back, but they won their Super Bowl last week in Philadelphia.
Good angle.
For whatever reason, I mean, they're getting a lot of credit in the market because of it. Like, yeah, they're 2.5-point dogs at home. That doesn't seem like, it's a very strong line, but I don't know. What do you think the opener would have been on that game, just even before the games last week, Rob? 4.5?
It would have been above 3 for sure. The look ahead line was 3.5. I think 3.5, 4 is right. And you're right, Pat. Like, in terms of this, I just want to take a step back and, like, don't blindly bet against all these teams that need to win in the final week of the season because the price matters on the game. So I'll let you continue, Pat. But, like, I like where you're going with this because people are just down on Seattle and up on Arizona, and they've forgotten about, like, the motivational angle for Seattle.
And they've forgotten, like, if you just look at how both teams are constructed, they're weirdly similar to each other, that Arizona is just bad Seattle. Yes, is Kyler better than Geno? Sure. But everyone else on the Seahawks is better than everyone else on Arizona. Like, Seattle's D is slip. They have a terrible run defense and a terrible pass defense. Well, guess what? Arizona has the worst defense in the league. They have a worse pass defense and a worse rush defense. And if you're thinking about them beating Philly, an angle that we didn't play last week was our guy, Winner Gagnon, Cam. He knows the Philly offense pretty well. He was there last year. That he had a little bit of insight to that we just kind of forgot about going into it. I mean, I forgot about it. I'm sure that everyone didn't forget about it. I just think that Seattle's underpriced in this spot at 2.5. It just seems low.
You know what it is, guys? When I first wake up on Monday and, write everything down, Arizona made the list. And the more I thought about it, I'm like, Seattle used to beat Arizona when they were shit. Like, they always play. When Arizona was way better than Seattle played these guys tough.
Yeah, it's
now you're getting a team at its lowest form. Like, we're buying the Seattle's fucking penny stock.
Yep.
The way they got beat up by Pittsburgh. So, and now the line went down too. I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Pat, I changed my mind on this pick, which we do a lot. That's the whole thing about the NFL. It plays games with your mind. I'm like, Arizona, haha. And then I'm thinking, stop, stupid. Like, think about it. Seattle, actually, everyone's going to be down on them now. This is the week they show up, last game of the year. Figure it out. I actually like the Seahawks too, Pat. I did like Arizona earlier. The more I think about it, I think Seattle goes in there and wins by a touchdown or 10 points.
And look, Seattle wins this game. I have the Bears beating the Packers. Seattle gets the 7 seed, and we get a rematch of that fun Thursday night game in Dallas from a few weeks back.
That'd be awesome. Yep. Me and Pizzola, bring out the air fryer.
That was a scary game. I mean,
dude,
Seattle was moving it.
Seattle matches up like it's weird. Them and Dallas, it's like, let's call it out for what Dallas 100 million times better than Seattle, but it was weird. It was like Geno Smith actually said, hey, I'm going to figure it out today. And one thing Seattle does have, Kenneth Walker, he's a real tough guy. But Rob, to your point earlier in the year, Pete Carroll, honest to God, I can tell you what Pete Carroll's doing right now.
Yeah.
He's putting on his sweatpants. He's putting up his socks real slowly, white ones, by the way. Right? And he's just sitting there. And I can tell you, he's having a bowl. Honey Nut Cheerios is actually too risky. I'm thinking more Chex. Not even like honey oat or apple cinnamon, just boring, regular, ordinary. Run, pass, run, pass, run. I can tell you what he's doing. Like, honestly, thank God I don't play poker. Pete Carroll, I love him as a motivator of men. He calls the worst game. Once Seattle figures it out, right, Rob? Remember that playoff game against Dallas when Lockett and everybody was beating the shit out of him? He's like, oh, let's run the ball for a half yard every time. How about you pass to set up the run? Do something different there, Pete. Come on.
Yeah. I've went on this rant before, but the defensive guys that turn into head coaches, like I would never hire a defensive coordinator as a head coach because they just get so conservative. Like they're the 4th and 1 punt from midfield guys. Like, trust your defense. Have you seen your defense, Pete? Like, you maybe stop punting the ball away because the field position doesn't matter when the defense is giving up 40 yards of drive. So I'm with you, but like to Pat's pick here, like we've adjusted. This is a market. We're betting into a sports market. Seattle's at a low. Arizona's off a high. The number's been adjusted because of that. No one's like, everyone seems to like Arizona here because of the motivational angle, but I'm with you guys. I think this number is too short. I still think that there's a pretty big gap between these two teams.
Cam, silver pick.
Guys, I'm having so many problems here. You know what, Pat? Just put my Bears in the 2-hole. I'm not even going to screw around with it. I was going to do it as bronze, but I don't have the same picks. But you know what, guys? We've been doing this stuff the whole year, so we can't have the same picks. I've been riding this team hard, and they've been really good to me, and I'm not getting off it. I just think Green Bay, people think exactly what you said, Pat. Wow, you beat Minnesota. Who gives a fuck? This is the same team that they've had I don't think that people I think people think Green Bay is better than they really are. I don't think they're a very good football team. I don't. I think their defense could be attacked. And I think this is also a revenge game, divisional game. The Bears hate the Packers. Aaron Rodgers, oh yeah, I always beat the Bears, blah, 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 blah. And Love needs incentives. I actually think that could be a negative thing. He's a young guy who's going to be out there slinging it all around. Oh, I get $4 million if I do this. I get $500,000 if I do this. You know what? That's actually good for maybe a veteran, but a young guy, I think it plays right into the Bears' hands with an improving defense. Give me the Bears. I think they can win this game outright. I'll definitely take the 3. I'm with you, Pat. It was one of my favorite games this week. Now it's my second favorite.
Rob, what's really funny about the Packers is they have vacillated throughout the year between people thinking that they're really good and really bad, but no one has taken the time to look at their record and be like, yeah, they're kind of a below average team.
Yeah, to me, they're average. And the thing is, their range has been wider than other average teams. Like you look at the teams that you would consider roughly average in the league, a lot of in and around the New Orleans range, they don't deviate a lot from just being average. They just have a lot of those games. The Packers have looked very good and they've looked very bad. To me, the big issue with the Packers is even if they get Jair Alexander back, their secondary is bad. Like they traded Rasul Douglas to the Bills at the deadline, which by the way, rejuvenated the Bills defense because he's a great player. Eric Stokes is on IR. They do not have corners behind Jair Alexander, and Chicago's passing the ball a lot better, especially over the course of the last 4, 5, 6 weeks. So to me, the Packers still have a very big issue that like Jaron Hall couldn't expose last week because Jaron Hall is like not very good, but this is a different story here. So I'm with you guys. I just to me, it's just not the right number in the game. And you need Green Bay to win by 4 to win a bet. I would not ever lay the 3 with Green Bay here.
Green Bay very sneakily has a bottom 5 defense in football.
Yep. Damn right, Pat. I love the fact you came up with the Bears hot. And I think it's one of those things like the Bears, like the Packers, the Bears, we always beat them. Like, what was the last time, Pizzola? You had fucking hair and I was like on top of the school roof getting high with the janitor. Like, what was the last time the Bears beat the Packers? It's like been, I don't even know. Wasn't it nuts? What's the number?
I can look for it. I mean,
it's crazy. Like
December 16th, 2018.
Good. They're due. Bears are due.
Does that mean the Jets?
They're a better team now.
Does that mean that the Jets are due to beat the Patriots?
I kind of like the Jets this week.
I do not like the Jets this week.
No, it's not making the minerals. But if you put a gun to my head, I'll take the Jets over the Patriots. But I'm probably dead.
Well, if the Patriots have 1 point of pride remaining, it's that they always beat the Jets. It's like they must be going around the locker room and like, there's no way we cannot lose to the Jets. Like of anything, both teams will be fired up for that game. It's meaningless, but they'll be fired up.
You should hear Cuss talking. This is Cuss Super Bowl right now. This is what he has devolved into.
Yeah,
doesn't surprise me. No, I mean, you got to when you're with. It's funny how the goalposts move from the beginning of the year, Pat. To week 18, meaningless game, need to beat the Patriots. We're also one of the worst teams in the league.
So I'm between. Do you guys have any like solidified bronze picks? Because I'm between.
I got about 4 of them.
I can talk it through. I have some
you want to
options.
talk it through?
Okay,
here's
so
what I'm looking at.
Okay, let's hear yours.
You want to go, Pat?
No,
I'm looking.
Actually, I'm just going to throw one out.
Okay.
Chiefs plus 3.5 with Blaine Gabbert, because I think Blaine Gabbert is better than Easton Stick.
He's at least competent. I only Chiefs for me in that game. Never laying the Chargers.
I like it, Pat. It didn't make my list, but it'll be like, yes, I would take the Chiefs, definitely.
The other one
as soon as Cam heard Blaine Gabbert, he went from 6 to midnight. You didn't have to sell him any more on that.
Hey, man, it's been the year of the backup quarterback. All this mockery. It's been like, come on, guys. You got to give me something. Anyway.
The one I think I feel
Falcon.
Yeah, the Falcons were the ones I think I feel the best.
Falcons were very close to me.
You know what, Pat? I'm putting it down now. I liked it. Like, I was on the Saints last week.
Me too.
In a traditional, a lot of it. You know what? The Saints always play the Bucs tough too. I don't care what the Bucs are doing. It's just one of those things. Like, history repeats itself. The Saints play one good game against a team that they always play well. You know what? Frank Falcon, I'm on it. We're getting 3.5 now too. We're getting the hook on top of it. Like, I would have taken it at 3. Okay, I hope I'm not falling into a trap, but I think Atlanta can win this game. I think they go wild. You're asking the Saints to do it again. Dennis Allen is a bad coach. There's a lot of things about Atlanta. I know they got beat up by the Bears, but the Bears are hot. This is it, man. Game's on carpet. Give me Frankie Falcon plus 3.5.
Yep, I love that one too.
3.5.
So there was those two. Saturday, weirdly enough, I like the Ravens plus 3.5 over the Steelers. I think the Ravens.
So do I. What, you think the Ravens are going to roll over for the Steelers? Huntley's a good. Huntley's a good backup. Can we confirm?
Is Huntley, like, if you had to start an NFL franchise week 1 next year, Rob, would you rather have Tyler Huntley or Mason Rudolph?
I would rather have Tyler Huntley, but I will say, credit to Rudolph. He's played very well since coming in. I still think at some point he's going to turn into a pumpkin. But I think Huntley's better. Like, in terms of backups that you could take, I'd rather have Huntley than Rudolph.
Me too. I lopped in my backup comment, Rob. You got something to say about the year of the backup?
No, well, all I was going to say is that 3/4 of the league is backups.
I know.
So, of course, it's the year of the backup.
You're right. I'm like that politician. I'm just like,
look at all these backups that are winning. It's like, all the backups are playing each other every
kind of like my
well.
teams. They can cross over and they can join a group. Yes, I'm in.
The other one.
I like Huntley a lot.
Yeah, the other one I was looking at as well. And I think this line's going to keep getting bigger. If I had to guess, maybe it won't. It went from 6, it went to 7. We'll see if it crosses through 7 and then kind of sky's the limit for it. But the Browns plus 7 against the Bengals. The Bengals, listen, I don't know who the Browns are playing. They're playing Jeff Driscoll at quarterback, so they might be playing like 0 players, like practice squad.
Is that Pizzola's cousin?
No, it's Jeff Driscoll, but the Italian version.
I like Jeff Driscoll. Yeah, he was at Pizzola's steak. Can I have some more tripe, please?
But the Bengals are 0-5 in division. Like, Browning has not looked good in 3 of the 6 games that he started. Like, he's looked actively bad in a lot of those games. I just see these two teams running a bunch in this game, shortening the game, killing the clock, and it's the Browns cover. Plus, who is betting the Browns this week?
I don't know who's betting this game, period, this week.
I got to be honest with you. This
Pat.
game's got danger written all over it, right, Rob? Like, you're playing with your fucking life. You like Russian roulette? Bet the Bengals-Browns game this week. It's as bad as the Patriots-Jets. By the way, Rob, is that tripe? Is tripe that shit, that brain stuff that I had at your?
No, it's not brain. It's
what is it?
It's like
fucking
cow.
Delicious.
It's like stomach lining.
It's amazing.
Well, it depends on who. Older Italians.
At your stag, it was good. It was very, like, people mock haggis. Like, oh, fucking, if it's done the right way.
Yeah,
with a little,
it's just very chewy. It's like chewing on a Goodyear tire is what I would compare it to.
But a tasty tire. And
if it's cooked nicely in the sauce and the broth, yes. But old Italians go crazy for that shit, especially if you have it at a stag. Like, they're going nuts for it.
Oh, I love that stuff. I went back for more. You know what it is, Rob? You're right. It's like like squid. It's chewy. Once you get over it, delicious. I love it. Like, I love octopus and squid. Then again, I would eat a radial tire. So yeah, I'm a good guy to bring to its stags. That's Rob. If you want the food eaten, I'm your guy. Give me a call.
Do we want to just make it a round of Atlanta plus 3.5 for our bronze picks and try to go out on top?
Yes.
What about the Giants?
I like the Giants.
I like the Giants.
I like the Giants, but I like the Falcons more than I like the Giants.
Same. I'm in the same boat as Pat.
What about the Bills? Is it the public play of the year? I love Buffalo.
We'll talk about that game in a second. But you've already locked in. You've already locked in Atlanta. Rob, are we both going Atlanta as well?
I'm going Atlanta as
I'm
well.
going
for
Frank
Bronze.
Falcon. Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about this Bills and Dolphins game. The Bills are going to crush them, right?
I think so.
But so does everyone.
I know it's a problem. It's the biggest publicly, and we don't like that stuff. But Tyreek Hill, did you see his house? It was on fire last night.
Bills Mafia, man. Bills Mafia is getting him.
I think it was the guy from the marina who he fucked over. But anyway, that's a story for another day. We'll catch it on Dateline.
Like I could see, I don't want to say that because one of the points that Cuss brought up in the Week 18 stuff, he's like, well, the Jets, if it's through 3 quarters, they might just sit their stars against the Patriots. Like I don't think any team has ever done that. The one team I could see doing it this week, I guess Detroit could plausibly do that if things start getting out of hand for them in either direction. Like, hey, let's not get our guys hurt. We're going to the playoffs. Is the Dolphins. They're already banged up. They're probably going to force Waddle to play in this game. Tyreek is banged up. Tua is banged up. They have no center at this point. They're 60% of their defensive line is out. They have secondary problems. I know that they're going to play this to win because they want the 2 seed and have those home games. But if things get out of control like a little bit early and the Bills jump up like 14-0, I could see them yanking everyone to try to get healthy for the next week.
It's possible, but you could say that the other way around too, because if the Steelers lose on Saturday, the Bills are in. And
for sure. Is that for sure? They're in? Like there's no like weird Indianapolis wins and stuff like that?
No, Rob, I think Rob's right.
I got to double check.
Because I thought
that it's just simply Steelers lose, Bills in.
I thought that there was like a Jacksonville component of this as well with them.
Really? Yeah.
Because they
maybe
lost
Jacksonville needs to win the division in order. Yeah.
Somebody else could look it up.
There's some scenarios here, but like I think the Bills are going to win the game. I would not lay it. I don't like the Bills offense at all. Like to me, the Bills offense is still very broken. Josh Allen's dealing with that, the stinger, like the nerve neck pain that he's dealt. He sucked last week against New England. If Bailey Zappi wasn't turning the ball over on their side of the field like a million times last week, I'm not even sure the Bills would have won that game because Allen was that bad. Stephon Diggs is hurt. Like, I don't know if he's not on the field. His snap counts are like 50, 60% now. They don't have any receivers. Like Gabe Davis is dropping balls. He can't get separation. I don't trust the Bills offense enough to win by margin. I love to back the Bills when they need to keep the game close, underdog role or whatever. But too many times now I've seen this offense. It's not consistent. So I mean, I'm probably going to bet the under in this game.
But
I'll
Rob,
be honest
the
with you
Patriots
guys.
always give the Bills problems. Miami can't fuck around.
Opposite,
they got so many
Cam.
injuries.
It's the opposite. The Bills always smoke the Patriots. Josh Allen's numbers against the Patriots for his career are absurd. They're through the roof. There were so many times that they just
the
destroyed.
Patriots always cover against the Bills.
You're just remembering the outdoor game. That was like the wind game. Okay. But aside from that, it's been a shellacking.
Okay.
I don't know. I kind of wanted I would bet against both teams if it was different opponents this week, but they're playing each other.
That's true. So you guys do like the Giants?
Yeah, enough.
Pat, you got me on Seattle. I was in Arizona earlier on in the week. I've changed my tune to that game. I can see Seattle figuring it out and winning that game. Another dog. You know what? I like Minnesota against Detroit. That almost made my minerals. That was right on the cut. You know what? Campbell can do this and he can do that. Now that Mullins is back, Minnesota should have beat Detroit the first time that they fucking played them. Detroit's got to worry about the playoffs. We're getting 3.5. Like, I'm sorry. That's teaser material for fun.
The scary thing for me, I agree with you, by the way. The scary thing for me is that Dan Campbell seems like a coach to me that's going to play this game hard.
Yeah, that's what he does, Rob.
Dan Campbell's not like I'm going to pull players out of the game type of coach, in my opinion. So that's what makes it a little bit more challenging because a lot of these games you have the upside of like, okay, the team might play starters for a half or a quarter or whatever. Campbell to me seems like a guy that he either goes balls deep or he just doesn't do it at all.
Yep. Yeah.
So
we're on the same page this week, guys.
That's not good.
No, what are you talking about? Not good. You saw about the way we turned around, dude. You got to start thinking positive, Pat. Your Bears are going to win. Everything's going to be fine this week, man. Don't worry about it. We're fine.
We're good.
going to be okay.
I'm with you.
Positive. Win. Let's go.
This is a question that came up on the spread show that I was told by Feinberg to ask both of you.
Oh, here we go.
God.
Oh, fuck.
Gabe really likes Michigan. Did he go to Michigan?
I don't know where.
No, he did not. No.
Gabe grew up on the West Coast.
He's got relatives in Michigan. He went to Quebec. Like he didn't go to school. Like he didn't go to school. No, he didn't go to Michigan at all. But he went to a wedding in Michigan and told his uncle to fuck off. And then I don't think they talked since that point. But anyway, he does a lot of business in Michigan. I think in the past, right, Rob? Remember, he used to go to Michigan, like he's got family there or something like that. I don't know what the fuck. He's always been a Michigan guy, and I'm a Washington guy. I like the Washington Huskies. My dad's father went to Washington. My other relative went to Washington State. Fuck, they're not even in the Pac-12 anymore. What a shit show what they did to the Cougars and Beavers. That's a story for another day. But he did not go to Michigan, Patrick. No, Michigan,
I don't know. I should know this because when I was interning for Gabe, 15 years ago, I used to sit on the opposite side of the cubicle for him. And I don't know if this is public or not, or if he's ever mentioned it, but he was having someone write a book about him at the time. So every night for like 2 hours, he would be on the phone just telling stories. And I would be on the other side of this cubicle, like flabbergasted. Like I was like, Cam, I don't know if you know this. You can ask Gabe about this, but he grew up, and this is not an exaggeration, on a pirate ship.
What?
No. I know. He told me the story. He was left on the beach as a child. Like it's actually like a story from like a 2020 episode. Right. And it's true. No, that's actually a true story. Another thing is, you're right, Rob. And then there's all sorts of other stuff. I know his uncle, whatever, he played in the NHL. He's actually one of the biggest goons too. Kurt Brackenberry, he played for the Nordiques in Edmonton. These are all facts.
He used to share like an apartment with Axl Rose.
No. He actually Foo Fighters. Yes. Buddy, Dave Grohl slept on his couch. I know that for a fact. And another thing is he might have gone to guitar school in Michigan. Can't confirm nor deny. But anyway, I don't know what his affiliation with Michigan is.
Neither do I. I never thought about it or questioned it. He just was always a Wolverines fan.
He just loves Michigan. It's kind of funny because it's an uppity institution and he's the complete opposite. Like people from Michigan, like what's their look? Loafers and khakis. Like
the irony.
Enjoy your Dockers and your fucking Chardonnay. Like he's opposite. It's actually funny because it's such an uppity institution. And he's like not that way at all, but he loves Michigan. Like he loves the Wolverines.
See, Gabe was ahead of, I mean, if this was 15 years ago, he was ahead of the time on this. I know that he's still trying to write his book now. The move isn't to write a book at this point. It's just to make it like a serialized life podcast. I would listen to that. Like 100 stories from Gabe, 30 minutes each.
Tune into Sports Grid tonight. There'll probably be another one. Like I don't know how many chapters the book is, but yeah, it's a big one.
You tell him if you want someone to produce that, I will produce that for him.
I will talk to him about it. Actually, you know what? He's got some pretty crazy shit when he's in bands and stuff like that. So Dave Grohl did sleep on his couch.
Yeah, I used to sit next to him at Fantasy. You just tell me these insane stories. Like you've lived a lot more.
With the Killer Dwarves and like fucking other like metal bands stealing his liquor and like, they used to put the milk in the thing so people think you puke in the cooler to save the good booze underneath. Like all sorts of little hacks that you learn.
What a hack. What a life hack.
That actually, it is a good life hack. If you open up the cooler and you see cloudy milk shit, you're like, no, it's don't worry about it, man. It's underneath. We took care of it.
Well, let's try to get our teaser record back to 500 for the season and really, win some money here. I am going to tease the Falcons up to 9.5.
Excellent. Okay. Excellent pick.
I'll tease the Colts up to 7.5.
Good. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, but remember, we have to be a team. We can't.
No, I know.
I'm
with you. You get through 3. You get through 7. I think it makes the most logical sense. I can see Indy winning this game by 3 or losing by 30.
I don't know that there's a lot of blowout scenarios for Indy. Like Houston, they coach to just win.
Yeah, but Minshew can get it going bad, and you can see it within like the first drive of the game. You're like, oh no, it's one of these games.
What do you guys think about the Giants to 11.5?
Yeah.
Okay, prefer Frank Falcon to 9.5?
I already did that one.
How about the Vikings to 9.5 since we didn't take them in the minerals? Are we down with that program?
I mean, if you want to use Atlanta, I'll switch mine to Chicago up to +9.
I just don't. I don't want us to double up. Like maybe we're like because if one game goes sour and we have it everywhere, then we got a problem. And I've learned that. Trust me. Every time I look at those 10-game parlays, I'm like 9 out of 10. I'm like I fucking put that thing everywhere. Like I'm such an idiot.
I have. Yeah, I'm. Bear with me here for a second. The total in the Patriots Jets game is 30 right now.
So you want to go 24.5 or 24?
No, I'm thinking you tease the Jets up to 8 because like how many the wind is terrible. Like it's a.
Oh, I like the Jets plus 8.5 too, Pizzola. I think
that's a good call. I like that.
You know what? That you're onto something, and I'm reading. I'm buying what you're selling, Pizzola.
Like I don't even really like the Jets, but the total's so low. It's such a huge running game for both teams. They won't be able to throw downfield.
Dude, if the Patriots win, they can only win by 7 max. I think. Like I mean, maximum. They're probably I'm thinking between 1 and 3. This is a perfect winning margin bet. You know those winning margins win between 1 and 6, 1 and 6 either side.
Bingo.
All right,
Thank
so
you, Pizzola.
Atlanta 9.5.
Actually,
Indy 7.5, Jets 8.5. You can find the cheat sheet for this show in the free Mayo Media newsletter. You can sub to that down in the description, or just go to substack.com, type in Mayo Media, and boom, it is up there for you. Cam, you get it, right? Did you see my big golf preview this week?
I always read your stuff, Patrick. I'm a little bit slow on the Sims. I do read stuff. I also want to join all your leagues, but I always get sidetracked because I'm getting calls from like sports. Can you come on and do a golf segment and stuff like that? It's like, man, I'm just trying to get my fucking shit together. Please give me some time. I think we should do a massive teaser again. It's the last fucking regular week of the season. So all the things that we didn't put in, let's do a massive one again with Minnesota and Frank Falcon and all the other stuff. We don't have to do every game, but let's do what we did when we won before. Was it a 7 or 8 banger?
Yeah, you didn't 8-banger on that one. So we'll call this Cam Super Teaser, and you won it, so you have access to free reign to go for it again because how could it lose?
But I like your opinions on it. I think we should add Minnesota.
I want to hear your opinions on it. You give us the games you want to put in this teaser.
I'm thinking about putting Carolina in, but I'll just let it simmer on the side burner. Give me Minnesota in the teaser, Pat. Add it to the list.
Okay.
Do we have Frank Falcon in there already?
Yep.
We have Jets in there.
Yep.
What do you guys think about Giants 11.5? Yes. And we need one more, right?
We can do as many as you want.
Where are we at right now?
We have 6. We have 5. Sorry.
What do you think about the Ravens 9.5?
Done. It's in there.
Yeah.
On the site,
add Carolina to make it 10, but put an asterisk beside it and say we will do a 9 game if you prefer 10. Carolina's in there too, because watch them lose by 11 because they're just stooges, right, Rob? Even though I like your pick,
it's very possible. Yes, I mean it's within the range of possibility that they lose by 11.
Patrick, can you send me those picks because I'm playing that exact teaser, and if I don't and it wins, I will lose my mind, which I do. I do that stuff all the time. I do these wacky things, never play it, and sometimes they win, and then I'm just going nuts.
I always find it hard to show options, straights and parlays, teaser. There we go. But I want a 6.
Who do you like in golf this week?
Yeah, this show's gonna be out after the golf starts.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, but so I can't tell you who I liked in golf.
You can tell me who you like.
I like Morikawa. You know who I like at a crazy price? Wallace. He's been playing pretty good on the DP World Tour. He's 180 to 1. Like a little sprinkle there.
I played Kitayama as a bomb because he plays Coast.
Oh, no, my buddy likes Kitayama. Kitayama and Hoagie Sandwich. He finished 3rd here last year. Tom Hoagie. But I'm playing. I think Morikawa wins. That's my pick.
All right.
You see this Jersey Jerry golf thing that's happening with Bart. I'm so upset that I didn't think of this idea and have Cam do it. This could have been, I mean, it already is a classic, but having a guy tee up at a 85-yard par 3 at a simulator and he can't leave the sim until he hits a hole in one is one of the most brilliant ideas. The guy's he slept there last night. They brought in a bed for him. He's getting massaged right now as I'm watching the stream. He's at 2,500 strokes without a hole in one. His body is literally broken down and he can't leave the sim.
That's tough. Like that, you know how hard it is to get a hole in one, even an 85-yard hole. You got to let the guy leave it. If he gets it inside like 1 foot, then come on, hole in one.
He got one. He got one to an inch.
Yeah, trust me. Pat, have you ever had a hole in one in golf? I've hit the pin. I've had it to an inch. I've never had a hole in one. I've hit the stick. I can't tell you how many times. But
I've never had a hole in one. I celebrated a hole in one because I thought it went in, and when we walked up, it was an inch behind the cup, so it looked like it had gone in on a par 3, and it didn't. And when I went to Cabot last year, I almost had a hole in one on a par 4. It was about 6 inches away from going in.
Wow.
That's awesome.
So you eagled the par 4. I hope you made the putt.
Almost a super albatross. That would have been amazing.
Yeah, so I ended up with the eagle. It was number 17 at Cabot Cliffs, where like it goes way uphill, then it goes way downhill. But if you hit the downhill slope in the right way, it might funnel, and the pin was just in the right spot, and I almost had it. It was awesome.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I get 85-yard par. How many strokes do you think it would take for an 85-yard par 3 to make a hole in one?
Well, this guy's at what, 3,000 strokes or something right now?
5,000.
He's at 2,500 roughly right now.
Double that.
And his body is broken. I don't even know how he's going to swing anymore. Like the guy can barely function. He can barely move at this point.
It's hard to get a hole in one in any type of like 50, 40. It's hard. Like it's not easy, man.
I'm surprised that there's not like a simulator glitch that he can expose. Because I did that to Cust one time. If anyone ever travels through the Minnesota St. Paul airport and has lounge access, there's a golf simulator in there from when the Ryder Cup was there. It's awesome. And Cust didn't, like, it's not calibrated properly, or maybe it is and it was just a hack. But if you just like kind of drill it at the bottom of the screen, you can have like 350-yard drives. Although I was doing that and crushing him, he still never figured it out. It was weird.
Well, I don't want to take shots at Cust right now, but it doesn't surprise me that you would have figured out the little advantage play there, Pat, and he would just still be struggling to get it.
Yeah, it'd be one thing if I figured it out and he wasn't able to see what I was doing, but he was standing right next to me.
He's an amazing human being.
One and done.
Wild man.
FantasyGolfChampionships.com. If you live in Ontario or Michigan, I suggest you find a friend who doesn't live in Ontario or Michigan to sign up for you. Then you can make your picks from anywhere, Rob.
What is this? Alaska, excluding Alaska and Hawaii, like all the contests from my childhood? Yeah. What's wrong with Ontario and Michigan? Come on.
You talk to your provincial legislators and you ask them what's wrong.
You know what? I'd be a shitty politician, but for gamblers, that'd be my whole platform. Booze and convenience store. I like everything. Like, I know it's a horrible way to run things, but
I mean,
you know what?
Cam, I'm pretty sure the Fords got elected on that very same campaign.
You're right. And I have less problems than them, which is really saying something.
At Cam Stewart Live on X, sportsgrid.com, where you can catch him for 10 hours a day over there. The Hammer. 4 hours a day.
4-3, yeah.
The Hammer.bet and the Forward Progress YouTube channel for all exclusive NFL coverage from Rob and the team over at the Hammer. Are you doing like watch-alongs for the primetime games this week, Rob?
Yeah.
I'm doing Sunday night for Bills Dolphins, and then through the playoffs, we'll be doing week 1 Saturday, Sunday, and Monday night of the playoffs as well. So a bunch coming up. But I really enjoy doing those. We just watch the game, we hang out, we talk a little bit. Jeff Feinberg comes in the second half, usually red-eyed, if you catch my drift, and we just let him rant for a little bit, and the people seem to really enjoy that.
So go get your spot in the one and done if you can. It's filling very quickly. It's just about to cross 3,000 entries with a week to go, which means by Monday afternoon it should be full by my simulation numbers that we're running for the contest right now. So if you want a spot, go get it. If you want a free entry, I told you the 2 ways to do that. You can find both in the newsletter as well if you have forgotten what those are, but all of the links are down in the description, so you could probably check that out right now. Smash the like, sub to the channel while you are here, and as you may have noticed, we have moved the show to Thursday mornings and not Wednesday afternoons, and it will stay that way through the Super Bowl, so we hope to see you every single week and beyond. I'm Pat Mayo. I'll see you next time.
Mayo Experience! Experience!